Imagine standing at the edge of a vast wilderness nearly 70,000 years ago. There are no roads stretching toward the horizon, no maps folded in your hands, no compass pointing north, no ships waiting at a harbor, no cities glowing in the distance. Just endless forests, towering mountains, scorching deserts, frozen landscapes, and oceans that seem to stretch forever. Every step into the unknown could be your last. A single mistake could mean starvation, thirst, or becoming prey to a predator far stronger than you. Yet somehow, against every impossible odd, ancient humans didn't stay where they began. Generation after generation, they kept moving. They crossed mountains that seemed unclimbable, deserts that appeared endless, rivers that roared with deadly currents, and eventually even oceans that no human had ever dared to cross before. Over thousands of years, they reached nearly every corner of the planet. Today, scientists have found evidence of humans living on every continent except Antarctica, all without modern technology. No GPS, no engines, no satellites, no written directions. Just knowledge passed from one generation to the next. The real question isn't whether they succeeded. We already know they did. The real mystery is how. How did people who lived thousands of years before civilization travel farther than many of us ever will? How did they survive environments that would challenge even modern explorers? And perhaps most astonishing of all, how did they find islands hidden in the middle of enormous oceans without ever getting lost? The answer reveals one of the greatest achievements in human history. A story of courage, intelligence, patience, and an unstoppable desire to explore. Most people imagine ancient migration as one heroic journey. They picture a small group leaving Africa and walking across the world in a single lifetime. It sounds dramatic, but that isn't what happened. The truth is even more fascinating. Humanity's greatest journey happened one tiny step at a time. The earliest modern humans evolved in Africa, where they lived for tens of thousands of years. Life wasn't easy. They depended entirely on nature. Every day was a search for food, water, and safety. Their survival depended on understanding the environment around them better than any predator. Then something began to change. The climate shifted. Rainfall patterns changed. Some grasslands slowly transformed into dry landscapes. Rivers that once flowed year-round became seasonal. Animal herds changed their migration routes, forcing hunters to adapt or face starvation. When food disappeared, people had only two choices: stay or move again and again. Families chose to move. Not because they dreamed of discovering new lands, but because survival demanded it. Imagine waking up one morning to discover that the herd your family has hunted for generations is gone. The nearby plants no longer grow. The river is shrinking. Staying where you are could mean certain death, so you follow the animals, a few miles today, another few miles next month, perhaps a little farther the following year. That simple decision, repeated by countless generations, slowly changed the course of human history. This wasn't one great migration. It was millions of small decisions, made over thousands of years. A child, born into one generation, might never travel more than 50 miles from where they were born. Their children might settle another 50 miles farther. Their grandchildren would continue the pattern. Century after century, those small movements eventually carried humanity across continents. It was less like a single expedition, and more like a ripple spreading across water. And unlike other animals, humans possessed something extraordinary. Our bodies were built for endurance. At first glance, humans don't appear particularly impressive. We aren't the fastest runners. We don't have claws sharp enough to fight predators. We can't fly or swim faster than marine animals, but evolution gave us a different superpower: endurance. Humans can walk incredible distances without exhausting themselves. Our upright posture conserves energy. Our long legs make movement efficient. Most importantly, our bodies cool themselves through sweating, allowing us to remain active even under the hot African sun, while many animals must stop to avoid overheating. Anthropologists, studying modern hunter-gatherer societies, have discovered that walking 10 to 20 miles in a single day isn't unusual. In fact, it was often simply part of daily life. What feels exhausting to many modern people was completely normal for our ancestors. Their world demanded movement. Children learned to walk long distances almost as soon as they could keep up with adults. Carrying supplies, searching for food, exploring new territory, and relocating camps became Ordinary parts of life. Every journey made them stronger. Every season taught them something new, but physical strength alone couldn't explain humanity's incredible success. Because walking into unfamiliar territory without preparation is incredibly dangerous. Imagine entering a forest you've never seen before. Which berries are poisonous? Where can you find fresh water? Which animals hunt at night? Which direction leads to safety? Without answers, survival becomes almost impossible. Ancient humans solved this problem through something more valuable than any modern technology: knowledge. Every generation observed the world around them with astonishing attention to detail. They learned how different birds behaved before storms. They recognized which plants only grew near underground water. They understood how animal tracks revealed the movements of entire herds. They memorized seasonal weather patterns and the changing positions of stars in the night sky. None of this knowledge was written down. Instead, it was spoken. Parents taught children, elders taught hunters. Experienced travelers shared what they had learned after every journey. Over thousands of years, this growing collection of knowledge became humanity's greatest survival tool. Long before books existed, the human mind became the world's first library. And that library held everything necessary to survive almost anywhere on Earth. Still, even with extraordinary endurance and remarkable environmental knowledge, one enormous challenge remained. Eventually, humanity reached places where walking simply wasn't enough. Massive oceans blocked the way forward. Entire continents lay beyond stretches of water that no human could simply cross on foot. At first glance, it seemed impossible. Yet somehow, ancient people found a way, and what they accomplished next would become one of the greatest mysteries and greatest triumphs in the history of our species.